Okay, male emotional retardation and emotional eating. What is it? How do we identify it, and how can we sort it out? So, for example, we all know, we eat sometimes when we're not feeling so great about ourselves. What happens if, say, for instance, I see it all the time on, sometimes in the past I was doing some construction work, and if 11 o'clock came, and then guys will go, no, I have to eat now, we have to stop, we have to do this. Because if they don't eat at that particular time, they'll get angry, or hangry is a silly mass marketing and media advertising thing. What's going on? Well, obviously their body is so overheated and sweating and toxic that if their body actually switches to detox mode, then their liver has got a little bit of space to put in some of the crap from the gallbladder, which is essentially the toxic waste dump storehouse, with lots of bile and mucus and all sorts of gunk that's contained within that, goes into the liver, and the emotion stored there is anger or abandonment or insecurity. And of course, if we keep feeding that, our body doesn't go into detox mode, so we'll just keep getting worse and worse all the time. It doesn't make much sense, but that's what lots of people do. And of course, if we're unable to witness ourselves and we keep on doing this, then the results are we're going to get more toxicity down here in the bottom half of the body. We'll end up getting a sorer back. Most people have hernias, and basically their cock doesn't work, even though they think that they're tough and big and strong, because that's the illusion that fungus from the liver and spleen across the large intestine, it's got a lot of fungus growing there, so they only get their thought patterns to a short part of their body, and they're not even getting to the maximum, say 80% rest of their body through the nervous system connections, and therefore the wider universe. So they have a very limited understanding of anything. And unless we go through this and do some colon cleansing and remove the amount of toxins in their body, the result is a lot of sweating. If we're always running a fever, which I used to do, especially fire body types, we do it all the time. Oh, I just hot and I'm just sweat a lot. Yeah, good luck with that. Your body's running a fever, it's running at a high temperature, and we're burning our intestines and the rest of the lower parts of our body, especially our reproductive system. So who wants what I call a burnt fire parasitic black devil cock? Because the mucus plaque down here in the reproductive system is abundant. Unless we've done significant cleansing and herbs and have the right diet, nutrition suited to our body type and our imbalances, that's the inevitable result. Might not like it, but guess what? That's just how body works. So if you can argue with it, you're only arguing with yourself. Anyway, so enough of that. And ways to get past that is a number of ways. Intermittent fasting is huge, because when we're able to sit with ourselves and realize that, hang on, I'm not actually hungry, my body's just gone into detox mode and this is what's going on, then we don't need to feed our toxins. And quite often I've had little bits on this left side, I feel, you feel that gas or that supposed hungry sensation and feeling from this left side, then that gas will be released, it will go away, and I'll go, hang on, I'm not hungry again. I just thought I was. Why? Because that was the fungus that had created a defense mechanism on the spleen reproductive, the spleen reflex point, where there's a bucket load of stored shite. There's lots on these two corners, and that's what the repetitive angry patterns are, and you can't let go of it, and the sadness at everything maternal, whatever stories that your psyche has made up. It's a false illusion. Other ways to do is lots of water, but keep the water at least half an hour before the meals, because then otherwise the body doesn't absorb the food because it's in a liquid state. So the stomach won't, and the small intestine won't be able to recognize it, and the enzymes won't recognize it because it will just think it's water and it'll flush it straight through. We don't absorb it. Other things to do is if we can remove our food window and make it smaller. So if we're eating at 5 a.m. and then eating at 9 a.m. at night, well then that's a lot. There's a 16-hour food window that our body is having to process and digest, and only 8 hours of sleep when we're detoxifying. And that of course is going to result in poor quality sleep. If we can change that and eat earlier in the day and keep our main meals around the fire part of the day, which is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., that's when our digestion is the strongest and most working at higher rate. If we're eating carbs at night, when we don't have much fire, then it's just going to turn to mucus, and that's going to feed the black mucus and fungus and parasites and everything that's in the body. Intermittent fasting, once a week is great. If we can do like a 3-day water fast or a mono fast on, say, green smoothies or coconuts or bananas, whatever you choose. Mangoes are great too. A mono fast, 1 day with all of these, just one fruit or green smoothies, or just have a day of just liquids. You'll find you can really get a lot more nutrients and absorb them better if you're just taking them in liquid form, because it doesn't take much digestive fire and energy to process it. And then of course we're feeding and flushing at the same time. That's a very big advantage. So, male emotional eating. Are we avoiding our emotions because I don't like it, doesn't feel good? Well, guess what? That's an immature, childish way to look at it, because we've still got emotional retarded organs, and as a result, if it's stuck, because these organs are not pumping and working at a high vibration or a high rate, because we've got a bucket load of gunk in our bodies in the intestines, so it's not able to allow those emotions or those new thoughts or those new ideas and new consciousness and new energy to run through our body, because the prana doesn't have enough space to move through the cells and then have a more complete nervous system. We're going to end up very, very closed-minded, and new ideas and new topics down in the bottom half of the body are going to be scary to us, and we're just not going to either recognize it nor understand it nor be able to take action to be able to improve ourselves with. It's the inevitable result. Have a look at people as rugby props, right? Have a look at them. They're big and dancing, I have to eat lots, so I have to constantly eat all the time. Introduce a new idea or a new food supplement or a new, like even apple cider vinegar, which is usually the first one people come across. They just go, no, I don't like that, I'm too scared. It's just closed-minded, and we end up with emotionally retarded boys in male bodies, at the age of 40 or 60 or 70. It's not going to help anybody. So, male emotional eating. Are we avoiding our emotions? How about we fix it up? Colon cleansing. Brilliant idea.